For over 5 years, Beyond Extreme Energy and many other groups have been taking action against FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They have done so because FERC is a rubber stamp agency for the gas industry, which these days is primarily a fracked gas industry. Since 1999, FERC has approved more than 470 pipelines while rejecting only 2 permit applications from the gas industry to build new pipelines, compressor stations, fracked gas storage terminals, and export terminals. People in local communities fight against FERC because gas infrastructure poisons their air, water, and soil, and because sometimes it explodes and burns. It is a health and safety risk. And people fight FERC out of a deep concern about intensifying climate disruption caused mostly by burning gas, oil, and coal.
The committee will be in order.
For dirty energy. FERC cares nothing about the environment or the American people or the planet.
BXE has advocated for a long time that FERC must be replaced. FERC leadership and many staff have a revolving door relationship with the fossil fuel industry. They leave FERC for industry jobs and come to FERC with continuing industry ties, a revolving door that must be slammed shut. We must replace FERC and its dangerous decisions with FREC, our Federal Renewable Energy Commission. FREC will lead the much overdue transition from fossil fuels and nuclear to clean, renewable, efficiently used energy.
FERC permits climate crimes. FREC saves the earth. FERC permits climate crimes. FREC saves the earth.
BXE was inspired to initiate the FERC into FREC campaign by the November 13, 2018 youth-based Sunrise Movement occupation of the Capitol Hill office of incoming Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. They sat in for hours, calling for her to rapidly draft legislation for a Green New Deal. 51 people were arrested.
Well, we have enough experience to know that our generation's future is on the line, that we will grow up into a...
This legislation would aggressively address climate disruption and environmental justice and living wage union jobs. This nonviolent direct action sparked a mass movement for a Green New Deal.
And all of the energy that's here in this room is the same energy that can beat big money and the same energy that can beat fossil fuel lobbyists.
Green New Deal! Green New Deal! Green New Deal!
BXE supports the Sunrise Movement as they continue to take direct action and build the Green New Deal movement. We know any Green New Deal legislation must replace FERC as we know it. Besides dealing with gas industry permit applications, FERC's primary job is to oversee the U.S. electrical grid. Right now, much of the power for our electricity comes from burning coal and gas. This needs to change. The fuel sources for electrical power need to rapidly shift to resilient, union-built solar, wind, and battery storage. Cars, trucks, buses, and heating and cooling systems need to become electrically powered. FERC, as it exists, would never make this happen fast enough, if ever. It needs to be replaced with FREC, our Federal Renewable Energy Commission. On April 18, 2019, BXE publicly launched the FERC into FREC campaign when a BXE team successfully organized an early morning banner hang action.
Well, we have 2 of our colleagues who have gotten up on the top of the awning here in front of the main door.
Two of us occupied an overhang 25 feet above the entrance to FERC with a banner declaring, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, no. Federal Renewable Energy Commission, yes.
Congress should take action to transform this agency, FERC, into what we're suggesting would be called the Federal Renewable Energy Commission. And instead of being in charge of and paid by the gas industry and mostly approving whatever pipelines and projects they suggest, this would be an agency dedicated to building out the 100% clean energy future envisioned in a Green New Deal.
We stayed for 6 hours, coming down after a scheduled monthly meeting of FERC's commissioners ended.
That every time they approve a new pipeline or an export terminal, they're locking in another 30 years of catastrophic emissions, which we simply can't afford.
I don't see how you can get to 100% clean energy, 100% renewable energy in the next 10 or 15 years without having this particular agency be completely different than what it is. You just can't do it. I mean, FERC will be a constant resistor of other legislation, other direction that's given by Congress if it's not transformed.
Following this action, we put together a sign-on statement explaining why FERC into FREC is necessary, and we soon gathered endorsements from over 200 local, state, regional, and national organizations. We then approached all the people at the time who were running for president in the Democratic, Republican, Green, and Libertarian parties, asking for their endorsement of the idea. 2 Greens and 3 Democrats, including Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, did so. In October and November, BXE hit the road, with a group of us traveling from the fracking fields of western Pennsylvania through West Virginia, into Virginia, North and South Carolina, and Georgia.
This tree is connected to a person in heaven. The company says, well, we don't take your land, we're not taking the land. When they take it to eminent domain, isn't that taking your land?
Now! Clean air! Now!
All along the way, we met and spoke with hundreds of people about FERC into FREC. Everyone enthusiastically supported the idea.
That if we're serious about addressing the current environmental crisis of our time, we must be serious about understanding fully the connections between environmental injustice and the climate crisis. And let's be clear, what's happening here with the ACP, with the LNG plant, is environmental injustice.
We visited fracking, compressor station, and storage sites.
And I have 2 domestic water wells of my own. One of them went bad. The gas companies and DEP won't take responsibility or didn't take responsibility. So it was on my own hook to get a new water supply.
Steep mountain slopes and stream crossings being clear-cut for pipelines.
Now, when they really wake up and realize they're not going to get their way, are they going to come back and fill these holes in? Are they going to come back and put this dirt back?
Fracked gas refineries producing ethylene for the production of plastic, and the Elba Island, Georgia liquefied natural gas export terminal. Throughout the trip, we asked people for their ideas, based on their experiences with FERC, about how a Federal Renewable Energy Commission should function.
I definitely walked into the situation kind of naive, thinking if I just get a meeting with FERC, they'll change their mind. It's only made up of industry people, lobbyists, people who have worked for the industry, people who are going to profit directly from these kind of projects. All of them are appointed by our elected officials.
FERC has played one of the more important roles in assuring the Mountain Valley Pipeline not only was rolled through a regulatory process that was not really based around the needs of communities whatsoever, FERC still manages to find ways of putting a rubber stamp on a project.
We are working in a system that is rigged against us.
And there's all these old rules, old organizations saying, no, this is how we make it now, this is where it's going to stay.
It's been the grassroots organizing that has shifted the narrative.
This is not a sustainable activity to frack, to have more plastic, to be burning more fossil fuels. It has to stop, and it has to stop now.
Same communities who have lived with decades of environmental and health disruption and who contribute the least to the climate crisis are set to be the ones hit first and worst by the manifestations. The future of our children, the future of our communities depends on what we do here and now.
There has been mainstream press coverage. Politico reported on FERC to FREC in December 2019 with an article titled "The Energy Agency That Could Thwart Democrats' Climate Plans." There is understanding, respect, and support for FERC and FREC from elected officials, as well as environmental, social justice, science, medical, and public health communities. Despite the severity of the climate crisis, FERC has, even in the last 4 years, approved both 5,000 miles of pipeline for 120 projects and a 66% increase in fracked gas storage and export capacity.
I just got bingo. I vote aye.
Our atmospheric CO2 budget cannot afford this. So what can you do to strengthen the building momentum to replace FERC with FREC? You can make a much-needed donation to Beyond Extreme Energy at beyondextremeenergy.org. Circulate this video on social media. Email it to people you know. Watch it with a local organizing group on Zoom. Talk about it with people you know. Contact your congressmember and your U.S. senators, sending them this video and urging them to support FERC into FREC. Contact BXE and become active with us as we continue to keep the pressure on FERC. Keep supporting frontline communities resisting gas and other fossil fuel infrastructure. And keep taking nonviolent direct action to press our demands.
FERC permits climate crimes. FREC saves the earth.
There's no time to waste. We needed FERC into FREC yesterday. Let's do it.